You are eating the wrong sugar, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why. So over the years, we've been told a lot of lies about sugar. Sugar is fattening, sugar is inflammatory, sugar gives you diabetes, sugar gives you all sorts of diseases, right? This is what we're told. And we're also told to eat the healthier sugar. And that is usually a browner sugar like coconut sugar, maybe Jaggery, panela. And that's what I want to talk about in particular today, because it's just not true. These sugars are not healthier than white sugar. White sugar has been demonized so hardcore in this society, and it's for no good reason. And today I want to shed a bit of light on that fact. So I actually made a pyramid which shows, which sugar is the best. And we're going to go through that a little bit more in detail here today, because pure white sugar is actually one of the cleanest, purest energy sources on the planet. The cleanest food ingredient on the planet. So all these sugars are a mix of glucose and fructose. It doesn't matter if it's brown or white. Even honey is actually a mix of glucose and fructose, but it has more fructose than most sugars. So it doesn't matter what source you get it from, whether it's white or brown or black or whatever, it's still going to have this same glucose and fructose combination. So I've been researching sugar for quite some time now, and it just came to me, how can cooking plant matter at an uncontrolled temperature for hours and then having that product become browner, that plant material become browner and browner, how can that actually be a good thing? So it's a very logical thing. If you cook something for hours and hours at an uncontrolled temp, usually, it's going to not become healthier for you. I think most of you would agree. So then in my mind, I'm like, hang on, so the sucrose of white sugar, it is very pure. It's like 99.5% pure, extremely pure. So you're just getting that sucrose. And sucrose is made by the plant. It's not actually made by us. It's just extracted. We extract it. And I can do a video about that process more in detail if you like. But I want to just stick to this brown and white sugar at this point because, when you're browning things, think about like baking potatoes and you're getting that browning on the potato, or you're kind of burning the toast. You're creating these melanoidins, all right? You're creating that Maillard reaction, which is actually, that browning on the surface of the food. And this is not a benefit. Despite what anyone says, this is not a benefit for your health. And I think logic tells us that, right? It's when sugar is heated with amino acids and then you get this Maillard reaction. So you're getting that browning, and that is not healthier. The white sugar has all of this removed from it. So it doesn't have any of the molasses. A lot of people are like, oh, molasses is so healthy. Yes, it does have some trace minerals in it. But in order to get, a significant amount of those trace minerals, you have to ingest a lot of this basically burnt plant matter. You've seen how dark molasses is. That's not a healthy thing. When you see the white, the clear, we should say what it is, it's clear crystals. They're clear. They're not, white sugar is not actually white. A lot of people are like, oh, it's bleached. No, it's not. Okay, it's actually clear. You can hold it up to the light and you can see the crystal shine. You can see how transparent it is. Yes, white sugar is processed, but a lot of things are processed, right? And it's about the end product, the end result of that processing. And with sugar, it's very unique because it's like water, right? You're filtering the water. The water filtration is quite a process in itself, but you'd prefer to drink that final product than have, the first product that comes in. And, it's the same with the sugar. If it's cooked a lot, it's cooked, it's better to refine that sugar and take away the melanoidins, take away that burnt plant matter or brown plant matter. And then you're getting that pure sucrose crystal. You're getting that pure ingredient. This is always going to be healthier. So you need to realize there is some processing involved, but it's about extracting. It's about taking away the impurities and leaving you with a very pure product and an ingredient, one of the purest, if not the purest food ingredient on the planet. It's crazy. I always used to buy coconut sugar just believing that it is healthier because it looks more organic and brown and, it goes through less processing than the white sugar. But the reality is it's in these open vats in these countries where, it's uncontrolled temperature, it's boiled for hours. You're getting a lot of that browning, a lot of that melanoidin, you're getting quite a whack. And, when you're going to include sugar as a supplement, like I recommend in your diet, then you want to be aware of these things and obviously consume the purest ingredient that you can get, which is the pure crystals. Those sun crystals are so pure and so beneficial to your health. And you don't need to be having the minerals, that the trace minerals that come along with it, because honestly, you'd have to eat about 1/2 kilo of sugar in order to get the same amount of minerals as you would in like a single banana. So just eat the banana, it's fine. And that's what I'm saying. I don't recommend you replace fruit with sugar. I recommend you use it as a supplement and you add it to enhance the flavor and enhance the nutrition, because fruit is not sweet enough anymore. It's really not sweet enough. The practices that are being used in modern farming, people are picking fruit way too early. The quality of fruit that they're producing these days is not like it used to. So supplementing with the sugar can help so much. So if we look at the sugar pyramid here, you have the hierarchy of sugar. We've got the pure white sugar at the top. Remember, it's not white. It's actually translucent. It's a clear crystal. This is important to remember. No debris, no impurities, controlled lower temp cooking. And then if we go down, we have molasses. Look, this order can be kind of shifted around a bit, but the ones that are the darkest, really, the molasses, they are the least pure, because that is all the melanoidins right in there, all the melanoidins. And some of you might be like, oh, but minerals might change the color to darker. No, they don't. This is because of that browning, because of all that cooking. And, at the bottom here, you have the Jaggery, the panela, rapadura, coconuts. These are cooked at high temperatures in open vats a lot, maybe not always, but they're browning. There's degradation, there's oxidization. It is not healthier. You've been lied to about that. And there's a lot of marketing. And you're paying all this money to actually take on pollution. And some of you might like the flavor better. Okay, that's fine. If you want to do that, it's not going to be terrible for your health, but I like to go for the purest ingredient. When I know it's the purest, I'm like, yes. And remember, the processing does not equal bad. Okay, it's just about extracting the sucrose and having a nice clean product to end with. The 99.8% or something pure sucrose crystal, that's what we want. So you don't want these impurities. You don't want the Maillard reaction. Yes, you might have some trace minerals, but it's honestly, you just eat fruit and you get way more. You have to eat so much in order, of the sugar in order to get any significant amount of minerals. And then you're going to be having a lot of this browning material, this burnt plant matter, basically burnt or browned plant residue. You don't want to have that. You don't want to have that. Get your minerals from fruit, greens. It's easy. It's not hard. Obviously, fruit is the best source of sugar, but the sugar in the fruit is the same as the sugar in the packet, the white sugar, which is actually clear. Remember that those sun crystals are the same, whether they're in the fruit or whether they're isolated, extracted, and presented to you in a bag. It is the same. It's not synthetic. Like, humans did not create the sugar. We only isolated and extracted it. The plant created the sugar first. Keep that in mind. But I always do recommend a fruit-based diet. And honestly, if you're on the fence about starting a fruit-based diet, this is the book that you should be checking out. The Raw to 4 book has helped many thousands of individuals over the years get fitter, healthier, lose weight, just be the best version of themselves. So I recommend you check this one out first before you do anything, because you can read the reviews too. There's a lot of positive reviews about the Raw to 4 diet. It has a 30-day meal planner, has over 50 recipes. It will get you on track first and foremost. So definitely check out the best way to live in the world on a fruit-based diet. There's a link in the description below. And yes, they do use some bone char in the processing of some white sugar still in the world, but it is actually being phased out. It's not the norm anymore, and they're using carbon filtration instead of the bone char. I mean, the bone char is just, it's an old thing that's sticking around a little bit in some places, but beet sugar has never had bone char used in the processing, and you need to realize that there's nothing left of the bone in the final product. You're not getting animal bone in the final product of the sugar. So just rest assured. But if you don't want to have that involvement, with the bone char, then beet sugar, organic cane sugar is the way to go. Cane sugar in Australia, no sugars are using bone char in Australia. So that's always nice. In the US, there are still some places using it. But look, if you're going out and you're eating, and you're trying to find out whether they use bone char, good luck. Good luck. It's just going to be ridiculous. You just do what you can. And like I said, beet sugar is the majority of sugar produced in the USA. So most of the ones that you get are going to be not using bone char. So that's something to think about. As far as processing of the sugar goes, I can make a separate video on that if you are keen to learn more about it. But the process is not as scary as people try to make it out, because as soon as people see a word they can't pronounce, they're like, oh, this is bad. They said chemical, it must be really bad. And this is just not true. Like lime, for instance, has been used in creating tortillas, making tortillas, I think for thousands of years with the Mexicans. And they actually eat some of the lime product. And lime is used in the processing, like the refining of the sugar. And it's a food grade material. It's been used for a very, very long time. But the important thing here is it's not in the end product. This lime is not in the end product, but with tortillas, yes. And they've been doing that for a very long time. So that's something to remember, and I can make a video where we do cover that. So every time you see these brown sugars, now you know that it is basically overcooked plant matter. It's not healthier for you. It's the sugar and the amino acids combining together and you're getting this Maillard reaction. This is not something you want to aim for, like to eat, okay? So I hope that makes sense. It's oxidized, it is degraded, it has the melanoidins. It's not healthier than the white sugar. But of course, it's much healthier than eating a whole lot of other foods that we have available to us. I mean, people are so comfortable smashing down protein bars and stuff like that, but as soon as you say white sugar, they freak out, even though there's, a list of 50 ingredients on their protein bar. But as long as they don't have sugar in there, they're happy. It's just madness. It really, really is. So remember, white sugar isn't unhealthy because it's refined. It's actually healthier because it has been refined and it's had that burnt and browned material removed from the end result. So you're getting a pure product. You're getting those pure crystals. Wonderful, wonderful crystals that actually power you, the most valuable crystals on the planet, really, because the other ones just sit on your finger like as jewelry or as something pretty to look at. These ones are actually like, the history of sugar is amazing, how these sun crystals have been powering civilization and building civilization, basically. Civilization would collapse without sugar. And I know that sounds like extreme, but it is true. You take all the sweetness away, you take all that sugar away, and people are just, what are they going to do? They're already crazy on the burnout brew. They're having a lot of caffeine. And if they don't have any sugar at all, where are they going to get the fuel? Because every cell in your body runs on the glucose and the fructose. It literally runs on what sucrose provides. And remember, we have that enzyme, sucrase, which breaks down sucrose, which is white table sugar. Same. We have a special enzyme for it that breaks it, splits it to glucose and fructose. It's a beautiful thing. And the more you learn, the more you realize you've been lied to. Been lied to for far too long about how white sugar is unhealthy, about all sugar is unhealthy. And it's time that we actually exposed all these lies and got on the sugar, because we need healthy sugars. We don't need these healthy fats like we need healthy sugars. And that's another lie that has been just marketed towards us, the healthy fats. So using it as a supplement, white sugar, I recommend the white sugar. If you get organic, that's going to be somewhat better for the environment. Organic is always going to be better in that way. Also, you avoid the bone char if you get organic white sugar. But just get the sugar. That's the important thing. Get the sugar, because if you don't have enough sugar coming into your body, if you don't have enough glucose and fructose, you will end up eating too much fat. And this makes you fat, insulin resistant, diabetic. It creates a whole lot of disease progression in your body. The sugar doesn't. We've been lied to. Okay, hope that helps. Let us know in the comments below what you think. And let me know what video next you want to see about sugar or about anything in general.